Well, that didn't take long. Jerod Mayo is the new head coach in New England. Here to help us break it all down is the fantastic host of the Locked On Patriots podcast, your daily podcast, keeping you up to date with everything going on with the New England Patriots, which is a lot nowadays. Mike Debate here with us. I am Ross Jackson, NFL expert here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Well, Mike, this didn't take long at all. Were you surprised to see how quickly they turned from Bill Belichick to hiring Jerod Mayo as the new head coach in New England?
Yeah, I mean, come on, it hasn't even been a day. I mean, let the seat cool off for a moment.
I don't think they even made it 24 hours.
No, it's not. It definitely isn't. I mean, the bags were packed and they were ready to go. Look, I guess in terms of surprise, maybe the timing and the quickness of, his hiring came as a little bit of a surprise this morning, but I really have to be honest, the undercurrent in the building and the undercurrent around the team the last few days, even before things were announced with Bill Belichick, seemed to point toward Jerod Mayo. He has a lot of support in that locker room. I know that players absolutely love playing for him. They say that he has that Belichickian discipline without necessarily the same type of voice, a different way of motivating, not necessarily better, but just different. And I think that it gives this team now an opportunity to move forward with a young head coach, someone that is motivated to win, and someone that was one of the fiercest competitors that I've ever seen here in New England as a linebacker, and someone that players definitely will listen to. He called the shots out there in that defense when he played. He's been doing it for a while here now as a de facto defensive coordinator. Yeah, Jerod Mayo is someone that I know is eager to show that he's a good head coach in this league, and I think he's going to show it in short order.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty fresh and unique way to still maintain sort of that quote-unquote Patriot way that we talk about all the time, but still bring this team into a little bit more of the modern era and going with the sort of, the rhythm that we've seen around the NFL of the former player head coach that seems to have had a unique impact across the league as more teams are trending that way. When you look at Jerod Mayo too, they built it into his contract, right? It was sort of in his contract that he would be the successor for Bill Belichick. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, I think this is kind of unprecedented in terms of having something, or at least in terms of where I've ever seen a clause written into a contract that essentially guarantees that this gentleman is going to be kept in the fold for a long term. And I think that's something that the Cubs saw in Jerod Mayo. Don't forget, he's been considered for head coaching jobs and interviewed for head coaching jobs with Philadelphia, with Denver. He interviewed last year with Carolina for their open defensive coordinator position. So this is someone who has been sought after. It's not like head coaching and Jerod Mayo just never had the opportunity to see the light of day. He's been someone that's been on teams' radars, and I think the Patriots picked up on that. I think they saw the way the players respond to him, and they realized this is a voice we cannot lose in this organization. Once the decision was made to move on from Bill Belichick, I think all eyes sort of just gravitated directly toward Jerod Mayo at that point, and that's why you see such a quick announcement.
Yeah, and look, we saw last year another one of these defensive head coaches moving into a first-time head coach role, defensive coordinators moving into a first-time head coach role, getting the rookie quarterback, and now being in the playoffs. When we look at DeMeco Ryans and the Houston Texans, the New England Patriots have some big shoes to fill. Jerod Mayo does when it comes to Bill Belichick. But look, first-year head coach, number 3 overall pick. Do you think that the New England Patriots can surprise the way that the Houston Texans did in 2023?
Well, I think that's what the Crafts, and I think that's what the fan base are counting on right now. I mean, you have a top 3 pick. You obviously don't have the franchise quarterback of your future on the roster right now. Now, what that means for Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, I think that's an excellent question that will be answered in subsequent weeks. But right now, you have to think Jerod Mayo is looking at a quarterback at those top 3 positions. Is he going to get the opportunity to see Caleb Williams slip to number 3? I don't think so, but stranger things have happened in NFL, Russ. There's always a chance of that happening. Maybe Drake May is there. Maybe there's some wheeling and dealing at the number 2 pick that allows him to slip to number 3. Or maybe the Patriots do go with Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU. Those are the guys that right now are considered top 3 consensus quarterbacks. the Patriots made the move from Bill Belichick to move on and to move into the future, it would naturally fall into line that Mayo would want one of those guys to be the captain of his ship at the helm on the field. That's the way I'm looking, but the Patriots need a lot more help than just quarterbacks. So I think it's very important for Patriots fans to temper their enthusiasm and remember that Jerod Mayo still has an awful lot of work to rebuild, especially that offense.
Yeah, obviously quarterback's going to be, at the top of everybody's conversation list, but it feels like there's still things that have to happen even before then. Do you expect more changes on the coaching staff for the New England Patriots, or kind of what is the next step for them as they move into their new future here?
Well, you have to think that Jerod Mayo's battery mate, Stephen Belichick, who's the outside linebackers coach, is probably going to, I would say, follow his dad. I really don't expect him to remain on staff. Again, stranger things have happened. We haven't had a whole lot of clarity from the Crafts. We'll get that next week when Jerod Mayo is introduced as head coach formally. But at this point, you have to think that more changes will be made on that staff. The special teams ranked number 28 in DVOA this year, 31 last year. You have to think that needs to change. And the Patriots always put a pride on special teams prowess. Whether Bill Belichick is in the room or not, Jerod Mayo learned what he learned as a head coach from Bill Belichick. He's going to take a lot of those same messages, a lot of that same training, and put it into practice and give his own spin on it. It'll be a different voice in that room, but I guarantee you that Jerod Mayo will still have a whole lot of Bill Belichick in the way he goes about methodically rebuilding this team.
Well, it's going to be a very fun offseason over in New England. And Mike, I'm so excited to see what you've got coming up. If you're wanting to keep up to date with everything going on with Jerod Mayo, the new head coach of the New England Patriots, New England Patriots themselves, the quarterback position, and all the other big questions that are going to be circling around the Patriots, the Locked On Patriots podcast is the one and only place to be every single Monday through Friday. Here's a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Mike, thanks so much for the time, bud.
Thanks, Ross. Much appreciated, my friend.